It's a miracle, baby.
Yeah.
Miracle, miracle, serves. Miracle, miracle, serves. Miracle, miracle, serves. Miracle, miracle, serves.
We keep having all these problems. How we gonna solve them? Every day it's the same thing. Yeah. All these unsolved issues, I guess it's official. Here we go again, the same old thing. And I'm tired of the arguing and lying. So goodbye.
Good morning, everybody, and happy Saturday. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is June the 29th, 2024, and today the topic is Listen and Obey. Yes, happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday. I hope you guys had a wonderful Friday. Mine was just fine. Yes, mine was good overall. I have to give a shout out to my brother from another mother. Y'all know him, Kelvin. It is his birthday today, so happy birthday, bro. My understanding is he's out there on the high seas, man, on a cruise. I said, shoot, I want to be like you when I grow up. I didn't get no invitation to the cruise, y'all. But it's all good. Maybe one of these old days. But I hope he's having a wonderful, wonderful vacation and birthday. And yeah, I definitely wanted to give him a shout out. And look, support him by watching our movie. Yes, yes, yes. Go, friends. Watch our movie, The Cast Movie. It is available for free. All you got to do is go to thecastmovie.com and it'll start playing. So you're welcome. And happy birthday to Kelvin. Yesterday, highlights from yesterday. Well, I did record an episode of the GSL Talk Show, so that went well. The second episode that I was supposed to do got rescheduled. The person never logged in, or they didn't log in on time. So I was like, okay, well, I got other stuff to do. So hopefully we can reschedule that. And then last night was Creative Night over there at Mountain West Church. Yeah, the kids got together and did a lot of creative activities. They had yours truly to, I guess, teach some acting. So I was in character as a acting coach called Coach Quirk. And I was kind of teaching the kids some basics and giving them the opportunity and the chance to shine. All you got to do is give kids some props. And then next thing you know, they become characters and they make monologues and come up with stories. And so yeah, it was a good evening last night. And then shout out to Mountain West because they allowed me to borrow some things that I can use for today, because yes, your girl's gonna have a kind of busy day today. One thing that I will be doing obviously is taking NJ to soccer. Yes, because it's soccer Saturday and we're still supposed to have that. And then outside of that, we're supposed to celebrate my book. Yes, Tangy's Not So Tangerific Cold, y'all. So shout out to the Radical Readers Clubhouse. They are allowing me to celebrate the book. I know everything isn't going, quote unquote, according to what I thought or planned, but we're going to see what happens. I'm excited about it nonetheless. I think it's going to be good. I'm even doing a special thing for those that are there. But I guess y'all can find out about that later. It's not none of y'all's business if you ain't going to be there. You know what I'm saying? You got to be there to be square. But anywho, yeah, so that is what my Saturday should be looking like. But we're going to see what the Lord do. But I was like getting stuff together this morning for that. I was up at like 3:28. And that was a word that I believe for me. And I would say that that's where today's inspiration is inspired from. The time I woke up, because of the word that I received. But I'm not necessarily sharing, again, what I received. But I'm sharing the action behind what I received. And that was to listen and obey. I felt like the Lord was telling me to do something. And so I decided to go ahead and do it, And so, and I guess I'll leave that at that. But I know I have fallen short of this. I've told you guys over the years that I've been doing the juice, times when I fail and fall, right? And so there have been times where God would tell me to do something and I would be hesitant or I wouldn't do it. And so those times it don't feel good. You don't always feel like, man, you did the wrong thing, sis. You're supposed to be obedient, and everything like that. But the times I try to be obedient, I try to share those too, so those are wins. Those are wins. So I felt like this morning was a win. But again, that encouraged and inspired this conversation because we need to do that at all times. Yes, I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to you too. When we hear a word from the Lord, when we hear directions, whatever the case may be, we need to be obedient. I know you're like, oh, Miracle, well, how do I know if it's me or the enemy or stuff like that? Well, you can, narrow that down and figure out how to build up your discernment and stuff like that to understand, again, when it's the Lord or when it's you or when it's the enemy. But more times than not, I would say, well, 99% of the time, if it's the Lord, it's going to line up with his word and things he's already said and things of that nature. So these are things to think about. I mean, obviously you guys can go deeper with this, think and pray, but I'm going to share the verses that were standing out to me, and I hope that it encourages you and inspires you. So yes, y'all, let's take a look at this. Listen and obey. A lot of times we just listen and then don't obey. So, and sometimes we obeying our own thing and not listening. So let's get into some Bible, okay? So I was noticing that the verses that were standing out to me, it was quite a few verses, and so I ended up putting majority of it in the Go Deeper section that you can peruse and let marinate on your heart, souls, and minds. Like for example, James 1:22 through 25, and then James 2:14 through 18. But I'm just going to share the verses that were standing out to me this morning. So James 1:22 says, "But be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves." So friends, again, this is a clear commandment, direction, instruction to not only, again, hear the word, but to do and live out the word. I know I talk about this all the time. I'm like, well, we see these things here in the Bible. We hear these things, but do we believe them? Or do we live like we believe them? I'm always asking that question. I'm asking that question to myself as well. Again, I tell you about the times I've fallen short and all of those things. But yeah, we gotta practice this, man. Let's practice again when we hear God speaking to move. Matter of fact, I heard this lady was giving quotes this morning. Like I said, I tried my best to share inspirational quotes and things like that nature, so you guys might be able to see it on our Facebook. But she basically was saying there are two quotes that have stood out to me and has encouraged me to get on the ball with my purpose, right? She said one of the quotes was saying, man, I can't even remember now. Let me see. Can I remember real quick? She was saying that the first quote was centered around, I guess it's not important. But then the second one, that's the main one that goes with this conversation, was that someone is suffering from you not being in position. And it goes with a quote that I heard over the years as well. The one that, again, says that, somebody is waiting for you to do what God told you to do, and things of that nature. Like, there is things that is hanging in the balance of our obedience. Now, sure, I know we talked about in the past that, again, God has a ram in the bush, or he can get somebody else to do whatever it was and stuff like that. But there's something about you doing what you're supposed to do that is beneficial to the world, man. We may not ever understand what that ripple effect is until maybe we're in heaven. But yeah, man, there is something to that. I mean, I can sit here and think about a variety of things that has happened over the years where I can see how this works, right? For example, again, one thing that got me on the ball with getting on up and doing the juice and things like that is hearing Marcus Rogers say, the Lord told him that in this season, if you build it, he's going to bless it. And I said, you know what? This is calling me. You know what I'm saying? This is putting a 911 under my belt right now. Little fire under me to go ahead and get GSL out, and next thing I know, God has been blessing it. Now, is it blessed in the way that people think it's blessed? Probably not, right? But is it blessed in a way that I can see? Not only growth of the channel and things like that, but growth in me. And again, I see success in a different way and all this different type of stuff. It's because, again, of the obedience. So Marcus Rogers was obedient, and whoever was obedient before Marcus Rogers, and whoever was obedient before that person, and it goes on and on and on, and it had an effect on me that ultimately is having an effect on you, whoever you are listening to the sound of my voice, right? And so, that's just one example of a practical way this is played out in my life. And I don't know, again, what all has come from my situation, but I think I've given a good example, so hopefully that helps us understand that. So get on the ball, man. Don't just be hearers of the word. We got to also be doers. But this is what stood out to me as I was reading that verse before I move on from this one. It says here, the part that was standing out to me the most this morning was deceiving your own selves. That's what stood out to me the most. Because it's not that you're deceiving the Lord at the end of the day. And you might deceive other people, right? But ultimately, you're deceiving yourself to, again, just, quote unquote, hear the word, but not be a doer. So that's just something to think about as we move forward. So here's another verse that was standing out to me. It was James 2:14. It says, "What doth it profit any brethren through a man, or though a man say he hath faith, and have not works? Can faith save him?" Now, I know people go back and forth, and I know I even go back and forth with this. It's like when to have the faith alone and when to work. And, I be trying to do all the work and be like, you know what, this might be a time for me to have faith. I get it. It might be difficult in that regard. But I believe in this particular conversation today, it's more so about putting work and action behind, again, the faith you say you have, right? At the end of the day, again, as I heard what I heard this morning, I put the faith in action to do and be obedient to what I believe that the Lord was asking me to do. Now, it's definitely a faith move. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely you know what, Lord, you always be doing. So I was looking at something else this morning, and it was talking about basically sometimes we're so blinded by what we see that we don't, again, walk in our purpose and do the things that God is calling us to do, or do the things that God has put on our hearts and things like that. Because again, if I sat here and just looked at what my situation for what it is, I would have been like, "Oh Lord, hold on, are you sure you asking me to do it? Let me clean it out a little bit and make sure that was you," and things of that nature, right? But, even, and I ain't gonna lie, I did that a little bit, just a little bit. Because at first I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to do this? And how am I going to be able to do the things I got to do today? As I was trying to figure it out. And then I was like, you know what? Okay, there's a will, there's a way. I'm going to be obedient, and we're going to see what the Lord do. At the end of the day, we're going to see what the Lord do. Now, because he knows what all I got to do today. He knows, all the things, right? And so I'm like, he going to make a way, and I ain't going to worry about it. So, can we practice being that obedient? Like, can we practice, again, exercising our faith by our obedience? And again, I know we can struggle, right? We can struggle with this whole thing, because sometimes, again, it's so confusing sometimes, because, you don't always hear an audible voice. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like, that's the only spiritual thing I kind of have experienced just a little bit. Now, I ain't gonna sit here and say I've heard voices all the time or nothing like that. But I'm just saying, like, the times where I hear my name being called and everybody's asleep, stuff like that. That has happened in my life. But say, for example, what I believe I received this morning, it wasn't that I heard an audible voice tell me, "Miracle, do this task." You know what I mean? It was more so like, again, paying attention to the verses that I came across when I woke up. Stuff like that. Something had already been on my heart and mind. And then after that, I ended up reading a verse that coincided with whatever was on my heart and mind. And I was like, oh, wait, is this what he's talking about? Like, maybe I should go ahead and do it. I guess this might be a 911 situation, whatever the case may be. And so, it can get difficult, right, to, again, discern between God, the enemy, and yourself. Because a lot of the times when God is speaking, it's in our heart and our mind, right? And again, we speak to ourselves and all this different type of stuff. So again, do whatever due diligence you need to do to build up your discernment, right? So you can be able to know when it's the Lord. But this is what the Bible has to say about that. It's John 10:27. It says, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. So at the end of the day, you have to just walk on in faith and believe that, you're receiving what you have received. Like, I know the enemy will try to come back and be like, did it really, do what he gonna do what he do, right? And then again, you got your own doubts and fears and stuff like that when you think about, yourself. But these are the times again that we're laying aside the flesh and walking in the spirit. These are the times again to build up our faith, build up our discernment, so we can be able to know, who's talking and things of that nature. And most of the time, like I said, 99% of the time, like if it's the Lord, more than likely it's going to be in alignment with something He already told you, two, the word, the Bible. And so, that's ultimately the juice this morning. You guys can go deeper about this, read more into those different passages that are in the Go Deeper section. But yeah, I hope you guys are encouraged to listen and obey, because that's the juice. Now, the Bible verse of today is Psalm 23:4. It says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day. And I look forward to talking to you all on Monday, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month. Take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us, because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.